Hi, we're Twisted Pine, and you're listening to
KPFT.
Oh, that's even better.
Hello, this is Sandy Wyman, Interim General Manager and fill-in host for Rourke Smith today on Wide Open Spaces. Rourke would have loved to have been here, but he ate some oysters that apparently it was the wrong month to do so. But with me in the studio, and the reasons for my presence, is we have a collective in from mostly the Northeast, but somewhat around here, and some from the North. I'm talking Canada. They're called Twisted Pine, and they're here today to play at the Big Top over at the Continental Club tonight, but stopped on in to the KPFT Studios to perform in just a few minutes. As soon as we're done shooting this, Howard. So let's introduce everybody. Dan?
Hey, my name is Chris Sartori, and I play the bass. I'm from Boston, Mass.
I'm Kathleen Parks. I'm the fiddler, songwriter, and singer, and I'm from Newburgh, New York.
My name's Dan Bowie, and I play the mandolin, and I'm originally from Houston, Texas.
Hey, I'm Ann Fung, and I play the flute, and I live up in Toronto, Canada.
This is not the first time this collective has appeared at KPFT. They were on Deadbeat many years ago. We're trying to pin it down. We think 2016, maybe 2015, somewhere in there, when they played the Kerrville Folk Festival on the way through. We're honored again to have them today. Tell you what, why don't you pick up these instruments and give us a taste?
Sure.
Yeah, let's give a little tasty.
That way I don't have to work. It's a ploy, it's a plot. This is Sandy sitting in for Rourke, and the reason we interrupted the re-Rourke run that you were listening to, I think at the top of the show he made reference to David Crosby just dying last Friday. Well, that was back in January when that show first aired, and I know many of you are enjoying that, but I've got something very enjoyable here that Rourke would have been doing had it not been me sitting in this seat this morning. However, Rourke is not here. And what I'm talking about in terms of enjoyable is a four-piece band from many points in the United States and Canada that have gotten together, and they're back again. We were talking before, they were actually on Deadbeat back in 2015, 2016. We were trying to pin it down. They were on their way to the Kerrville Folk Festival, and they're on their way to a festival now, but have stopped here in Houston to do a show tonight at the Big Top over at the Continental Club. You're all welcome to come out this evening, but you may not be sure as to what you're getting into. So by listening to KPFT, as usual, you will gain the knowledge and the information and everything you need to make intelligent decisions to navigate this planet. I'm talking about Twisted Pine, a collective that's here in the studio with me, and I'll just introduce them from my left to your right, or your right to my left. I don't know which, but whatever it is, I'm going to go in this order anyway because it's my left to your right, and if that doesn't confuse you, I don't know what will. We have Amy on flute, and we have Dan on mandolin, Kathleen on fiddle, and Chris on bass. I'm sure they're going to want to supply their last names and social security numbers when we get to it. But before we do any of that, and before you even say anything on the air, why don't you go ahead and launch into one of your numbers here. We're talking about a four-piece collective that's capable of wide-ranging musical genres on Wide Open Spaces, 90.1 KPFT FM, FM HD1 Houston. Take it away, guys.
give you the room to bloom forever inside my heart. So I'm asking you to come on and give me a try. Don't just pass me by. Be my sweetest papaya. I'll give you sweetest desire. I'm asking you to come on and give me a try. Don't just pass me by. Be my sweetest papaya. I'll give you the sweetest desire. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yes, another time swinging on the vine. Ooh, ice, lover. Come on and give me, come on and give me a try. Let me see. And I'll give it to you. Papaya. Come on and give.
Twisted Pine in the KPFT Studios. Hope you enjoyed that one. That was called Papaya. And it's been a bit since you put that down in the recording studio and released it. Your last CD was released in 2020 called Right Now. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. It's just listening to that one tune, though, Papaya, there was some great harmonies going on. There was some, we'll call it like we see a jazz flute going on in there. And everything just kind of blended together. You're all going your separate ways to form one tune in a very powerful way. Tell me first, how did this collective get together? You're from all over the place. Let people know where you're from.
This is Kathleen speaking. But Dan and I, we both moved to Boston to study at Berklee College of Music. So we kind of met through that Americana scene music program there. And we met Chris through the bluegrass scene. He was kind of the cool new bass player coming in on Upright. And we were like, hey, that guy's pretty good. We kind of all just met each other, in that scene, and through touring and coming in and out of Boston with her different groups, we became friends, and we just kind of kept in touch over the years. And in 2019, she joined us.
And you're up in Canada.
That's right.
And this collective was obviously together through the pandemic. Released the last disc Right Now in 2020, right in the thick of things, I assume. Later in 2020. What were some of the challenges in recording that in absentia? As I understand it, getting across the border was a little trickier than it usually is, and.
Yeah, this is Anne speaking from Canada, and we
Actually,
were,
she's speaking from here. Folks.
I am
Semantically correct.
I'm from Canada, but I'm currently in Florida. Not Florida, sorry, Texas.
I thought you were making a Texas joke.
I'm making a Texas joke. That's right.
East Texas, yeah.
East Texas. I'm sorry about that. You know, I gotta learn my U.S. geography. All right. Yes, So during the pandemic, I was kind of stuck up in Toronto there, and we did a lot of online video. I was green screened into a lot of videos, so the band would record together, and I would. It was pretty much an acting gig where I would pretend I was playing with the band and interacting with them, but I was really just by myself in my room on a green screen. And then the videos would get edited together, and so we fooled a lot of people thinking I was in the same room. But we did actually have an opportunity to drive. Both sides were driving to the border, and there was this one city where the border is actually just a bunch of potted plants. So, I mean, you could really just like hop over, but there's guards everywhere. But we just stayed on our sides, and I stayed on the Canadian side, and the other three stayed on the American side. And we played a concert right there, and there was a little crowd on both sides.
Yeah, it was the first time we had played together in person in 6 months or something.
Yeah. That was our record release show.
That's pretty cool. I hope you filmed all that.
Yeah, we had a camera and we had a little recording rig. It's you can find it up on YouTube. There's some stuff up there.
Twisted Pine, and I guess you can poke around YouTube. Is that under any special title?
We released, so the record is called Right Now, and you can find our version of Right Now live on the U.S.-Canada border.
Nice. Very nice. That's very creative, too, as is the music. We'll talk about that creativity streak, playing on stage with this lineup, this instrumentation, and what you're achieving with the sound, which sounds more than 4 people in this case. It's a whole cacophony, a whole symphony right in front of me. They'll be tonight at Shoeshine Charlie's, the Big Top at the Continental Club. What time do you begin that show?
I think it's at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. And then they're going to be playing again in town here down in Clear Lake, Clear Lake, on Thursday, is it?
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night, excuse me. Yeah. So a couple of opportunities to catch Twisted Pine before they get out of town. But right now, we're going to go hear another one. That first one was called Papaya. What are you going to do for us now?
This is a newer song, not recorded yet, unreleased.
Never let the bass player touch the microphone.
Gotta get some WD-40 for this.
Yeah. We kind of originally formed playing a lot of bluegrass music, and now we've kind of expanded beyond that. But that's definitely where the roots of this band come from, and we really like to play fiddle tunes. There's a long tradition of bluegrass fiddle tunes, great fiddle tunes, and this is our version of a very popular fiddle tune by Bill Monroe, and Kathleen kind of rewrote it in her very unique Kathleen way. And maybe can people call in? How about if you can guess the fiddle tune that this is based on? Call in and let Sandy know.
713-526-5738. Caller number 2, and by the way, caller 5 in that line will get a pair of tickets tonight at Shoeshine Charlie's. Yep. We'll get your name and you'll be on the guest list. So give us a call, 713-526-5738, option 2. Take it away, guys. Twisted Pine in the KPFT studio, covering the Bluegrass Boys, Bill Monroe's band. Is that right?
That's right. That is right.
Yeah, and Jamie called in. He'll be seeing the show tonight. Jamie, thank you for that, and thanks for listening today, and enjoy that show tonight. But he couldn't guess the tune, and I was guessing Dark Star.
That's a fair guess. It's hard to make out. Kathleen does a good job of disguising it.
I fooled you all.
Are you going to give it away?
Oh, yeah, that's the wheelhouse. I forgot we didn't say it. Yep.
Yeah, it was beautifully done. And let me ask you about the instrumentation in this band, getting on stage and doing what you do. You're not in the classical bluegrass mold at all. This is much more space grass, free form. And it's not only that, it's just not restricted to the one genre. So when you guys got together and saw what you had to work with, the clay, what you had to mold to make the sound that you're getting, and you started playing these tunes, what was the collaboration like, and where did you kind of talk to each other about giving space and, making sure that everybody gets heard and the music is featured?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty... The thing with us is that everything's pretty organic. There's not a whole lot of discussion in that sense. For example, I think Dan, Kat, and I have been playing for many years, and when we had an opening in the band, we were at this folk conference, and Ann was there, hanging around playing flute with every single band, and so there was an opening there, and we were like, "Hey, Ann, why don't you come sit in with us?" And so she sat in. We played a couple showcases, and I don't think we were specifically looking to add a flute in our band, but the background that Ann comes from and sort of the open-minded energy that she brought was the thing that was attractive to us. And I think that's sort of the common thread amongst the four of us, is just an open-mindedness, versatility in a lot of styles, passion for a lot of different types of music, and not kind of shoehorning us to any one particular genre, I think is the sort of group dynamic that we have. And so given that that's our base, whenever it comes to arranging and writing, everything is on the table. All things are good to go, and so we don't make any rules.
When you write a piece, when you first play a piece in the studio or get together and kind of jam and it sounds good, things get more elaborate. And finally, the tune becomes something of a living piece that you can play over and over through years to come, and maybe not make too many deviations because people are enjoying that one particular sound. But through that evolution process, how long does that usually take? You write a new tune, when does it become mature?
Good question.
It's like a fine wine.
Yeah, it's sort of always is developing.
But one of the fine wines I'm familiar with is "You Never Take Me Anywhere." Hey, folks, it can lead you to some interesting places. Is all I'm saying. So, is that a year cycle playing that and performing on the road? How does that help you in terms of maturing these tunes?
I would say that tunes kind of definitely go through different stages. So, maybe we have an idea and it's not really stage worthy yet, but we'll jam on it a bunch. And sometimes we just like to jam on things in sound check, or just when we have a moment in the green room or something, we kind of have these different ideas floating around and we just kind of jam on them and see what happens. And that's very, very open-ended, and we're not really talking about anything. But then as we kind of eventually that kind of turns into a more of a song idea. And then maybe we'll spend some amount of time working out the specifics of that song, and just kind of getting it ready to the point where we can play it live. And for us to play something, we'll play something live, if we've rehearsed it once, okay, let's try it. Let's try it out live. And then then it kind of gets up on stage, and then it kind of goes through a cycle of us playing it live and seeing what feels good, what feels, and things definitely develop that way. And then eventually we record it. And, and the recording it never really feels like the final version to us. That just happens to be how it is at that moment when we record it, because after we record it, we keep playing it live, and things just kind of keep changing. We expand sections, we add sections sometimes. If you come to see us tonight, and you're familiar with our album, the Right Now album, when we play them live tonight, they'll be a bit different than they are on the record because we've been playing them for a few years, and things expand and change, and and like Chris said, the open-mindedness and kind of the willingness to explore it kind of definitely extends to the stage. Like when we're up there, we're kind of just trying to see where it goes.
And that you can feed off the energy of the crowd very easily that way.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see what's going on, and I think that's a wonderful thing. Never the same way once, I think, is the way to express it.
That's right.
Yeah. Really nice. Got another one for us?
Sure.
Yeah.
Twisted Pine in the KPFT studio. They'll be at the Continental Club tonight, and their venue out back, the Big Top. You need to come on out and see them. Can we give away a second pair of tickets? Is that...
Let's go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
We resolved the technical issues with the phone, and Jamie called. We're going to give away another pair of tickets. You be the third caller, and you'll be on the guest list for tonight. And that show starts at?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock after a 15-minute break. They'll see you at 8:45. Show begins about 9:20.
Stand by for Squeaky Mike.
Oh, yeah. KPFT, Houston.
1, 2, 3. Fall is upon us, there's no way to stop it, it happens all around. The leaves on the trees are no longer green, and now they're falling down. It's our heart's delight, it's bound to do it right. 94-year-old Maisie O'Brien, she has never shined away from the crowd. She talks in the day, she talks in the night, history from her mouth. If you had her eyes, yeah, you'd see they're bound to do it right. Rising up to an East Coast morning, having talks in the pale moonlight. I never thought it'd be another day, a different time. It's bound to do it right. Sweet Jersey City, she don't too pretty, but take a look around. The people are moving, their bodies are grooving, their feet they stomp and pound. They have their pride, they're bound to do it right. Whoa, Canada Boulevard isn't too very far from the place I knew, where Mother Teresa would chili come each and give a house and home and a garden lies. A scene that's bound to do it right. Rising up to an East Coast morning, having talks in the pale moonlight. I never thought it'd be another day, a different time. It's bound to do it right. different way from what we're feeling now. Just after 3, you're looking at me when now I'm common ground, moving out of sight. You'll see it's better to ride, rising up to an East Coast morning. I've been tossed in the pale moonlight, never thought it'd be another day, another time. Rising up and a dear space morning, never tossed in the pale moonlight, never thought it'd be another day, another time. Sucks. I never thought it'd be another day, another time. It's bound to do right. Bound to do it right.
KPFT, serving the musical community. Twisted Pine in the studio today on Wide Open Spaces, putting it down for you. Another beautiful tune, and that was called Rise Up,
Bound to do it right.
Bound to Do It Right. Well, that was beautiful. And who wrote the lyrics on that?
I did. This is Kathleen.
Kathleen Parks playing the fiddle and doing the lead vocals. Dan Boo on Mando. Chris Santori on the upright bass. And Ann, that's Fung. Ann Fung on the flute, the jazz flute. Stay classy, San Diego. Guys, that was great. You guys have a good gig tonight. And again, tonight at the Continental Club, the Big Top. And then you're playing UH Clear Lake Wednesday. What time is that?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. And the name of that auditorium there, it escapes me.
It's the
but
Bayou Theater.
Bayou Theater, UH Clear Lake. Catch them there. It's going to be a good performance there as well. I really encourage you to see these guys full of energy, full of originality, and blending instrumentation together that we should really see more of on stages. There's not a single electrified piece there, no electric guitar, and no percussion to disturb
Just
you.
wait till you hear us plug in.
And rock the house. I bet it's awesome because the energy coming off this is certainly awesome. Thank you, guys. And then you're on your way to play Old Settlers out in Austin.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
so South Austin. So when is that?
That's going to be Friday and Saturday. We've got an afternoon set Friday and a late night jam set on Saturday.
And for those of you that haven't been out to Old Settlers, this is one of many bands, just some of the music that you can catch out there that's acoustic, bluegrass, and very thoughtfully put together, each and every one of those acts, I'm sure, or they wouldn't be there to begin with. And I want to thank you guys for making the effort to stop by today. It's great to see you after all these years. We all survived the pandemic.
Hey, we're still
KPFT is still here, too, and it's thanks to the energy of folks like you. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us in.
Thanks a lot,
Thanks
Sandy.
to all listeners, too.
And
See you.
one more time, what's your website?
TwistedPineBand.com.
And can people buy your...
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They can buy
Everything's for sale.
everything.
And just really quick, we had the one CD that was out in 2020, and you're about to start recording another. You've got enough material gathered. You're going into the studio when?
That's right. We're going to be in the studio probably after the summer, in the fall, winter, and then look for a release next year.
Yeah, if you guys come
Or
to
the
shows,
year after, or the year after that, depending.
Yeah, if you come to the shows this summer, you'll hear what's going to be on the album.
New
You
releases.
don't have to wait as
Yeah.
long.
There you go. New releases, new energy. Again, thanks for making music. Never, ever quit making music. In this world, what makes sense? Well, this does.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure about Congress, but anyway. Thanks, guys. Have a good gig tonight.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sandy.
Thank you.